Hi everyone, welcome back to If I Heart Wings, episode 38, and we're currently in the middle of a farewell party for Amane. Well, it's because Aoi, Kotori, and Ageha brought it up to cover up what they're talking about secretly in the garage, why Amane wants to give up the flight log from Isuka. But in episode 37, we got to learn why Isuka is important to the Soaring Club, and it's because she was the one who revived it after it closed for many years. And it was her that pulled Amane into the club, and then Tatsuya joined shortly afterwards. And while they have some glider from before, Amane has been spending most of her time looking for ways to improve the glider. And she did reveal that she wasn't a big fan of gliders, but she just kind of liked what it can do. And she was hoping that she could go to the morning glory clouds again. And so far, Amane has not revealed what happened to Isuka afterwards and where she is today. And I kind of feel that it's probably related to the accident that the teacher, Tatsuya Sensei, is talking about. And I'm pretty sure that's why he's very wary of having the Soaring Club up and running. But anyways, let's see how the farewell party goes and how it ends. Because a lot of people came to help out. Even Hibari, Kotori's sister. So, let's see. So, after the meal, we went out into the garden to do some fireworks. So since the farewell party was planned in a hurry, there was a limit to what we were able to do, but still, I wanted to do the fireworks with Amane. So Kotori, who isn't exactly our leader, but she decided it there and then. So there were no objections. The rest of us also wanted to do fireworks with Amane. So they're enjoying it. So Amane is doing a handheld firework with Kotori. And they both seem to find these fireworks unusual and are enjoying themselves. The fact that it changes colors as it stays lit. Boring, says Ageha. So Ageha, getting fired up, is carrying a fountain type firework that are normally placed in ground, one in each hand. It's like, this is more exciting, so watching it shoot up into the sky. So if you light them, then wave your arms around. You can chase after people, which is one of our... Oh, so Ageha wants to add the chase factor into it. Okay, hey, don't do that. Why not? Well, we finally created a peaceful atmosphere and you're going to mess it up. But it's boring! I want to do something more exciting! Fine, you're no fun! So even Hotaru does not approve of Ageha's idea, like chasing people with fireworks. So this is what an older sister being scolded by her younger sister looks like. And it looks like Masatsugu wants to do it anyways. Shout out Masatsugu as he came around running in from this side, lighting large numbers of mini pinwheels and throwing them around all over the place. Hey, I hope he doesn't catch fire in that area. So wait, what happened? So how is it?
麻婆のアホ
Hey, you dumbass. What are you going to do if someone gets burned? Let's see how he responds.
うわドキドキしたくー許せないそのバカ捕まえて
So I don't think he really cares. Well, that would be really bad though.
へへんここまでおいで
Well, all that matters is that it's fun. So
あ逃げた
he runs away. Oh, way to end this. Hey, hold it right there.
誰が捕まるかっての
You can't catch me. Oh, so Tatsuya catches him. So Masatsugu, running around like a little monkey, suddenly stopped in his tracks. In the blink of an eye, Anchan had grabbed him by the scuff of his neck.
あんちゃん
マーボー、ちょっとあっちで話をしようか。
So let's have a little talk with your behavior. So speaking kindly, Anchan took Masatsugu over to the shadows.
あのな、マーボー。楽しむのは大切なことだが、女の子を怖がらせちゃいけない。
So I like how he's like, well, it's bad if you make the girls upset, you know.
もう子供じゃないんだ。お前だって女の子に嫌われたくないだろ。
はいごめんなさい
Fine, I'm sorry.
あああんちゃんを怒らせちゃった
So what's Ageha going to do about this? Hey, he was doing the same thing you were planning to do, wasn't he? So was he...
みんな子供だよ
Well, I think everyone's like little kids. So Ageha and Masatsugu, they're both even.
みんなかき氷できたよ
Okay. So looks like Kanako has something for us. So Kanako came carrying a tray into the garden.
どうぞシロップもありますからね
And looks like Hibari is here too.
わあかき氷だ練乳あるかな
So wow. Let's see. So shaved ice.
私いちごのやつはいはい幼い幼いちゃんと全員の分あるから
So thanks for going to all this trouble.
いいえいいんですだって小鳥ちゃんがあんなに楽しそうなんですもん
Well, I feel left out, and Kotori's having all the fun, so I want to join. Hibari gets a little tearful. Well, I guess that since I came to the dormitory, the only really thing she's enjoyed was eating ice cream. And at some point, the days where Kotori doesn't smile have become fewer, and she has fun every day. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure Kotori wanted to do more than just eating a huge bucket of ice cream. She wanted to go to places that she can't go. And I wonder if that was the time where Kotori constantly called Hibari for help. But now that Kotori's having fun, her contact with Hibari has gotten fewer and fewer, and it's making Hibari a little bit jealous. Well, not just Kotori, but the rest of us too.
みんな部活動のおかげなんですよね
But then again, I have to give thanks to your club activities, so... Yeah, maybe that's true. Well, there was something that we could all get into, and people who felt the same. Amane and Isuka started it, and then myself and the others will continue with it. But Amane won't be around for much longer.
お、かき氷か。俺はレモン味にするかな。
But first, shave ice.
あんちゃん俺も食っていい
反省したか？
So, did you... Like, I wonder what word I should use. Like, well, hey, so did you learn what you did, like, what you could have done.
したよ。俺、女の子に嫌われたくない。
Well, I understand. I learned my lesson. I don't want girls to hate me, so.
あんたそれどういう反省の仕方よ。
Really? So, I kind of feel like you're just talking.
うっせ、お前だけは女とは認めねえ。
Well, then again, you were a boy in the past, you were a tomboy, so that doesn't count.
なんだったかな。たく、いちいち騒がしい連中ね。落ち着いて食べられないじゃん。
So things like, well, I see Kotori more girly than you, so you don't count.
ヒートきた。
But doesn't Kotori like brain freeze?
冷たくて美味しいな。この不思議な青色が食欲をそそる。
Fireworks and shaved ice. As one of the members of summer, nothing beats this. After eating the shaved ice, there were still some fireworks left. And it looks like Ageha got Hotaru and Masatsugu to buy them, but it's kind of a problem because they don't know how much is too much. So I think they bought too many fireworks, and now they have to burn all of them before it all goes to waste. So I go over to where Kotori and Ageha are to do some more handheld fireworks.
綺麗ね。私はもっとわーって派手な方が好きだけどな。
Well, I kind of feel like these are too small. So I like them both, but rather than getting really noisy and excited about it, I wanted to make the most of the last remnants of the summer. Or like make them all great. As I light the handheld fireworks, Anchan comes up beside me.
ハンちゃんもやる？この鉄砲型のやつとかどう？
So you want to do some?
あ、それ私の最後にやろうと思ってたやつ。
いや、俺はいいよ。お前らが楽しんでるのをこうやって眺めてるだけで十分だ。
Okay. So everyone looked at him like they didn't really understand what he meant. Anchan sat down next to me and looked over at Amane, who was also doing fireworks a little further away. So Amane was doing sparklers with Masatsugu and Hotaru.
なんだか可愛いな、この花火は。
Oh, this is cute.
線香花火は最後にやるもんだろ。
Well, you're doing the sparklers last, right?
いいの、好きなんだもん。私もだ。
チェ女ってこういうの好きだよな。
So you're telling me that girls like cute stuff, right? So Anchan, watching over them, had kind of yet a sad look in his eyes. Hey, Anchan?
Hmm?
So, what is it? So, I just want to know, where did Isuka go? And Amane wouldn't tell me. As I asked, Kotori and Ageha raised their heads. So they want to know what Tatsuya or Anchan has to say.
どうしてそんなことを聞くんだ？
So, why ask? Well, Anchan must realize that it's been on our minds. But despite that, that's how he answered. Well, Amane told us that she went away somewhere. Well, I don't know. I don't know where she went. And that's what Amane said earlier today when I asked her at Windmill Hill. So Amane continued to build the glider because she wanted to know why Isuka was so obsessed with it. And she might understand if she passes through the passage of clouds, is what she said. Hey, Anchan? So, why did Isuka leave? I, or rather all of us, had predicted the same answer. And that she died in an accident. So it was a terrible thing to think about, and we didn't want to be right about it.
さあ、わからない。
Well, I don't know. So, I think he knows, but he tries to hide it. It's like, well, I don't want to think about it because it's quite a gruesome thing to know. Wait, you don't know?
事故があったんでしょ
So, I do remember about an accident. So, Anchan's face seemed to say, wait, how do you know about that?
ああ、そうだ。いつかはその事故に巻き込まれたらしい。
And yes, Isuka was in that accident.
じゃあやっぱり
So, in response to Kotori's murmuring, Anchan lowers his head like he can't say anything.
あれは夏休みの間に起こった出来事だった。あの時、Amaneも俺も風が浦にはいなかったんだ。事故があったことは壊れた機体を見れば明らかだった。
So, when we found the glider, it was in really bad shape.
けど、そこで何があったかは結局教えられず、イスカは二度と戻ってこなかった。
But they never gave us what happened to Isuka after that. And she disappeared. And it kind of... So it really sounds like that Isuka was killed in the accident. However, it seems that Anchan has another explanation.
もしその事故でイスカが死んだのなら、もっと大きな問題になっていたはずだ。
But you know, if she did die, then it would have been a bigger problem. And I'm sure if Isuka did die, then there will be zero chance that the soaring club would still be running. It would have been closed by the school for good.
しかし、学校側は事故をもみ消し、なかったことにした。以来、その話はタブーとなった。
Uh-oh.
探さなかったの
探そうとしたさ。けど、イスカは寮生で一人暮らし。実家がどこにあるか誰も知らなかった。
So, more important, like even worse, no one knows about Isuka's family or her origins.
飛び魚荘のオーナーさんなら知っていたんじゃ。
Maybe we can ask the person who owns the Flying Fish Manor, because she was living in Kotori's room before Kotori moved in.
教えてはもらえなかった。どうやら口止めされていたらしい。
So even Amane can't say anything, right?
ああ。あいつも俺と同じで、イスカがどうなったのか知らないはずだ。Amaneはイスカがいなくなった後もグライダー制作を続けた。まるでそうすることでイスカが戻ってくるって信じてるみたいに。
Okay.
あんちゃんも続けてたんでしょ
So did he carry on as well? No, I think he graduated and that counts as him moving on.
イスカがいなくなった後、Amaneは変わった。
あのアマネちゃんが
Oh, sorry, I went too fast. So so after Isuka disappeared, Amane started avoiding people. So we looked at each other like we couldn't believe it.
それ以来、俺はAmaneと疎遠になっていった。気には留めていたんだがな。誰もいないガレージで孤独に浸るあいつを見ているのが辛かった。それに何より、突然イスカを失って、俺もかなり参ってた。
So I didn't know what to say. Amane continuing to work on the glider all alone in that great big garage. Anchan hurt deeply from losing someone. I didn't want to imagine either of them like that.
私たちが出会った時、アマネちゃんはすぐに私たちを受け入れてくれたわ。
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Aoi who first made contact, because when he first showed up in the garage, Amane wouldn't even talk to Aoi much, except for when Amane is so hungry and needs to eat something.
でも部員を入れることには積極的じゃなかったわ。
So the thing that made her become more positive was Kotori bringing the photo in Isuka's flight log.
歳月が傷を癒して、Amaneの堅くなさも評価していったんだろう。けど、
Well, I feel like that's a problem with Amane.
あいつがあんなに楽しそうにしてるのは、葵たちのおかげだと思う。
But I do feel that you and or like you people are helping Amane.
また色が変わった。面白いな。
It's like, well, this is probably the first time I've seen Amane like this in many years.
綺麗ですね。
So an innocent smile lit up Amane's face as she watched her little sparks crackling and popping. The rainbow color lights reflected in her eyes as she watched earnestly like a little kid. Amane found little mysteries in each of the little sparks, and her curiosity made her heart flutter.
なあ、誰のが一番長いか競争しようぜ。
Wait,
いいよ。おお、面白そうだな。やろうやろう。
I hope Masatsugu isn't going to cause another round of troubles. So Anchan watched over her with a kind look in his eyes, but it was like he was looking at something far, far away.
俺は自分のことで手一杯で友達だったあいつに何もしてやれなかった。都合のいい話だが、お前たちがあいつと出会ってくれたことに心から感謝してる。
So Anchan will continue to be with her, so don't worry. Anchan shook his head.
俺はとっくに引退した身だ。OB として手伝えることがあれば手を貸すよ。
Well, I've already retired, so it's you guys that are going to help. I've already moved on, basically.
引退までの間、あまねのこと頼む。
So Ageha, Kotori, and I all nod silently at Anchan's request. And then his cell phone rings.
悪い。もしもし、達也です。はい。はい。本当ですか、吉沢さん。
So I wonder if Tatsuya is going to go back to work like someone called him from his place.
わかりました。明日の朝一番で取りに行きます。
Okay, so I think it's work-related phone call. Sanchan grins as he ends the call. So what is it?
喜べ、お前ら。
So wait, who's coming? So it matters to everyone. Okay. So when he told us, we suddenly become about twice as excited. So what's the excitement that is going to affect everyone at the Flying Fish Manor? Then... Hey, so tomorrow the winch is... Oh, okay, so he called Anchan and go, hey, we got the winch fixed, so, So as we tell her, Amane tilts her head and looks at us dubiously. Wait, so,
つまり
in other words, we can start testing again from tomorrow! So forget all the last remnants of summer. We were already thinking about the next day.
「校舎裏にひっそりと立つ古びたガレージ」
Okay, so we're looking at some memory or some past event of the Soaring Club and the garage. So the old garage built in a hidden part of the school grounds.
誰かが使っている様子はなく、誰からも見向きもされていない。
So it seems like no one is using it and it's seen by almost no one.
何か面白いものがあるかもと、こっそり中に忍び込んでみた。
So I thought there might be something interesting in there, so I sneak inside.
初めてあれを見たときは、なんか変なものがあるなって程度で、大して興味もなかった。
So the first time I saw it, I just thought there was something weird in there and wasn't particularly interested in it.
それが180度変わったのは、 あの写真を見つけてから。
And the photo.
一冊のノートに大事に挟んであったそれはとても綺麗な雲の写真。
So I feel that the photo was in the notebook the entire time, and when Isuka saw it, she just put it back in.
こんな美しい空があってもいいの？
So could such a beautiful sky really exist?
ってくらいグレートな空。けどなんか変だ。
But it's strange though.
なんでだろうこの写真。
So maybe the photo?
あ、わかった。
Oh, I know that
そう、その写真は雲の上から撮影されていたのだ。挟んであったノートのページにはこう書かれてあった。なんという幸運だろう。我々は風が浦に突如出現したモーニンググローリーを偶然にも飛ぶことができた。
okay.
それはもう奇跡と言ってもいい素晴らしい体験だった。モーニンググローリー？
So the morning glory?
そのノート、高校日誌を読み進めるうちに僕はどんどんのめり込んでいった。雲の写真はこのガレージを使っていた人たちがグライダーという飛行機に乗って空の上から撮影したもので。
So I wonder if the notebook was written by the previous soaring club group before it's Isuka and Amane.
そのグライダーにはエンジンはついてなくて風に乗って雲の上まで飛ぶんだという。一体どんな気分だろう風に乗って空を飛ぶのは。
So how must that feel to ride on the wind and fly?
あの美しい雲の回廊を渡るのは。そうして思いを巡らせた時、もう僕の心は決まっていた。そこに打ち捨てられたグライダーを修復し、雲の彼方を目指そうと。
So it's like, well, I want to see those kinds of clouds with my own two eyes, and they mentioned that they use this glider to see those clouds. So I'm going to fix this glider up and go look at the clouds myself.
次の日、僕は早速そのグレートな計画を親友に打ち明けた。
Okay, so this is Isuka talking, and the best friend, that's definitely Amane.
日も暮れてきたし、今日はこの辺にしときますか。
So I wonder what was happening. Okay, so they're testing the glider once more. So Ageha said as I was taking a breather after returning from a flight. Well, we can't go one more time, can't we? So we still have a little time before the sun goes down completely. Well, it is better to be careful and call it a day.
この辺り街灯なんてないし、日が落ちる前でもかなり暗くなるよ。
It's like, well,
そしたら着陸の時危ないじゃん。
so in the case that we end up going past our intended time, and it'll be bad if we land at dark when there's no lights or anything. Yeah, she's right. So when we came back just now, it was hard to see the runway, and my depth perception was messed up.
というわけで、今日はもうおしまい。小鳥、撤収するよ。
So let's call it a day then. So Ageha calls Kotori on her cell phone. So right now Kotori's by the winch.
今日はもう終わりか。
So I think Amane wants more. Yeah, so perfect wind for train has just started blowing though.
しょうがない。事故を起こすわけにはいかないからな。
But then again, we have to be careful not to cause any more accidents. So as she speaks, Amane looks towards the eastern sky. So there is the orange glow of sunset, the same as always. And it looks like the sign has appeared again. So the sky indicated that nothing would happen the following morning. So I'm sure tomorrow will be clear skies and we'll have plenty of time to do testing tomorrow. So I watched her from the wide or the side while she looked to the sky, and her face seemed filled with impatience. Okay, so they're back in the dormitory. So since the winch came back, we've been doing as many test flights as possible every day. So there are adjustments to be made to the glider, but the main objective is for Amane and I to do flight training.
今日かなり高くまで上がってたね。どのくらい行った？
So I wonder how high you were able to go today. I'll say 600 meters. So I'm guessing maybe about 2,000 or 2,200 feet. And that's pretty good for a glider.
ほう、記録更新だね。だいぶつかめてきたんじゃない？
Yeah, but still hard to ride the thermals though. So thermals are vertical drafts formed by heated or air heated by the Earth's surface. And they occur more easily in areas where the temperature above the ground rises easily, like soil or asphalt. And by catching these thermals, we can fly to higher altitudes. However, the thing we're chasing is the wind, which is invisible and it's not easy to catch. And even after riding it well, the wind is fickle, the flow and strength are not stable, and it may suddenly disappear. But if we don't get good at riding it, we won't be able to fly high enough to reach the passage of clouds. Oh, so it's like 2,000 feet is not high enough to be at the altitude of where that morning glory will form. So they have to practice and learn how to fly higher than what they're doing now. So Mai looks down with a blank expression and without even attempting to eat it, plays with her pasta with her fork. So not good?
あ、いや、そうじゃないんだ。
So Amane's just thinking of something and distracting her.
ちょっと考え事をしてただけだ。
So I'm wondering. So she gave a faint smile and prodded at her pasta, and looked towards Ageha and shrugged. So Kotori was next to Amane, absorbed in reading the book she had borrowed from the library. So why don't you do that after you finish eating? Okay. Well, it's no good. She's not listening. So it's something that's very exciting and interesting that Kotori can't put the book down. And even though it's time to eat, it's bad to be reading while eating. It's hard for Kotori to put the book down, so Kotori for a long time has been finding out about Morning Glory. And since we started the test flights, Kotori, being disabled, has had nothing to do except operate the winch. And that's why she seems to be thinking, well, I'm useless. So I wonder if Kotori got a chance to ride the glider. Well, I'm pretty sure that's a no. So she was really involved in the construction of the main wings too. So that's not true at all. But because of this, we found out about something important. So a few days ago, after the farewell party,
オーストラリアのバークタウンで起こる気象現象について書いてあるわね。
So what phenomenon? So Hibari translated from the book written in English after being persisted by Kotori. Well, then again, it's like, well, you're my sister, you should help me, and it's hard for Hibari to reject it. So it's a book about the morning glory. And according to the book, the clouds that appear above Australia can have a total length of approximately 1,000 kilometers. And it's not just one cloud that appears, it can be many at the same time. Oh, so like a comb lots of strands. So when the sun comes up, the temperature increases and the clouds disappear, and there's only about 2 hours before that happens. And for the local people, this is a sign of rain, and raging winds blow beneath the clouds. So the altitude of the clouds is about 1 to 2 kilometers. And if you can't ride the vertical drafts well, it is possible to reach those altitudes.
海風と陸風が衝突してできる前線が発生の原因なんですって。
So even though I was able to fly the glider to 600 meters, he has to go twice the height. So he needs more practice to be able to reach that. And I have a feeling that they have to fly in adverse weather conditions to be able to see the morning glory clouds. And that kind of sounds risky.
夜になると気流が冷えて下降し、逆転層が。
メカニズムが分かれば予想は立てやすくなるけど、風が浦とオーストラリアじゃ地形も気象も違いすぎるわね。
Okay.
もっとこう分かりやすい前兆とかないのかしら。
But anyways, this is complicated. Is there anything else that we could read that will help us understand better?
ここにそれらしいことが書いてあるわ。
Oh, how about this then? So Hibari translates as she reads.
北から湿った強い風が吹き、夕暮れ時東の空が紫色になる。パブの冷蔵庫に水滴ができたら翌日起こるんですって。
So if water droplets appear in the fridge at the pub, it'll occur.
この辺りにパブってあったかしら。
Calm down. This is talk about Australia.
気温が低く湿度が高い早朝に発生することが多いですって。
Something about condensation.
気温が低く湿度は高く、前日の夕方東の空が紫色にか。
ちょっと待って。
So maybe it helps Kotori understand what's going on. So Kotori excitedly opens a page in her old notebook. So it's a flight log from one of the old members.
ほら、ここ見て。
So Kotori opened it to the page that explained the signs that were seen on the day the photograph was taken. In other words, the day that the morning glory had occurred. And it seems that they did a test flight on that day, and there was a detailed information on the weather conditions written in the flight log.
テストをした16時頃の気温は23度。真夏の日中にしちゃ随分低いわね。
So apparently they did it in the afternoon, and the temperature is moderate, not cold. So 23 centigrade, maybe about, I'm gonna guess like the 70s in Fahrenheit. I have to calculate it myself.
その後、日暮れから強い風が吹いて肌寒いくらいだったって書いてあるわ。
So it was warm in the afternoon, and then some cold breeze came over, and the place became cold. And this was written in the remarks column. They went to the effort of writing it, so that must mean there was quite a big change in air temperature. And for the color of the sky, it doesn't really say. So the important thing is the log was written about the knowledge that today, morning glory will occur. And they wrote this without realizing that it was the sign of the morning glory.
これはかなりのヒントなんじゃない？
ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。どういたしまして。
So since then, Kotori has been checking the weather forecast every night and reading books about weather, like she's trying to become a weather forecaster or something. So the idea is that they have to try to find a time where there's a rapid change in temperature. So going from hot to suddenly cold. Or maybe from cold to suddenly hot as well. And I'm sure they use big supercomputers to predict weather, so Kotori herself can't predict weather very accurately. So the 3 signs that indicate the coming of a morning glory are as follows. So number 1, the day before a warm, strong wind blows and the temperature is high enough to cause water droplets to appear on a fridge in a pub. And at dusk, on the day before, the eastern sky is purple. And number 3, it is much colder than most summer days. So perhaps this information is just nonsense, and this is all we had to go on.
ねえ葵、今日の当番って誰だっけ？
Well, I'm not sure. So every day we take turns to wake up before dawn to see whether or not the clouds have appeared. And even if there are no signs the day before, well, whose turn is it today? Okay, so we get to decide whose turn it is. And unfortunately, because I'm playing this with the Kotori option selected, I can only pick Kotori right now. But I will go back and see what happens if I pick the other options. So Ageha and me, and we cannot pick Amane because her route is locked until I complete the Kotori option, or her individual character route. Okay, so how about Kotori then? So Kotori lifts her head as I say that. So wait, me?
そうよ。
Okay, well, yeah, it's mine. Well then, I better quickly have a bath and go to bed. So the morning glory does come, we have to fly right away. It's like, well, it only appears for 2 hours and this window is very, very small to get a flight. And that's why we covered the glider on the runway and just covered it up with a sheet. So like, well, if it does come, we'll be ready to go. The airplane is in the right place, and so even if it doesn't occur, we can still start doing test flights from early in the morning. So it is a little rough, but it does not look like it's going to rain, so there isn't much we can do. And there's no way we can let this one in a million chance pass by. Okay, so Aoi is in his room. So I open my eyes. I close my eyes and roll over in bed, and doesn't feel like my sleepiness is coming back. So I sit up and open the curtains. The sky is dark, and I can see the stars twinkling. So I think he's too excited to go to sleep, and he's really anxious to see if today is the day when the morning glory clouds arrive. So I went to take a look outside, and in the middle of the garden, I see Kotori staring up at the sky. So, how is it?
葵くん。何もなさそう。
So it looks like it's just going to be another normal day with nothing exciting. Well, okay, I see. So, I look at the sky, and all I can see is the shining stars and no sign of clouds we are looking for. So, I'm pretty sure the temperature isn't correct either. Well, it was quiet. So quiet, it felt like we could hear the stars twinkling.
来ると思う？
So now they're kind of wondering, is it going to happen or not? Well, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
来てくれたら最高の夏休みになるのに。
Well, I'm sure in the best case, like, it does happen. Especially before Amane's forced to graduate. But there is a good chance that it probably won't happen in a while. Yeah, that's true. But even if it doesn't appear to me, like if it doesn't happen, it'll still be the best summer holiday ever. So at least we were able to bring the Soaring Club back to life and build something that's really interesting and cool, the glider. The summer holidays are always fun, but this was so fun, it could be the best ever. Yeah?
私もこんな気分になるのは久しぶり。
I'm sure it's really special for Kotori, given that we learned from Hibari that all she has done is pretty much just ice cream and being locked in her room, not being able to go anywhere because of her disability being in the wheelchair.
夏休みが終わるのが寂しい。
But then again, summer holidays will end at some point. So is there anyone who doesn't feel like that? Kotori shakes her head.
足を怪我してからずっと私にとって夏休みの終わりは新学期の始まりだった。また嫌でしょうがない学校が始まっちゃう。だから終わってほしくなかった。
I'm sure that's true for many people. It's like, oh no, summer holidays are going to end. That means back to school and more classes, new teachers, homework.
ただそれだけ。けど今は違うの。夏休みが楽しいから、楽しすぎて終わってほしくない。
So summer will come around again, as long as we're alive, dozens more times. But this year, the best summer holiday ever will only happen once. Well, it's not good, is it? For something to be too fun, I think I'm going to be burned out in the second term. And as I speak, Kotori giggles.
私ね、ヒスカのこと自分の友達みたいに思ってたの。
So your friend? So Kotori nods her head, seemed quietly embarrassed.
イスカが高校日誌にいつかここからいなくなるって書いてたの覚えてる？
So remember that? Yeah, I remember. The same kind of thing that was written several times.
私ね、あれを読んで自分のことみたいに思ってた。私も同じように感じてたから、いつか自分はここを去るんだって。
So kind of like how Kotori's like, well, what Isuka is writing in our flight log, that kind of relates to me. And just like Isuka, I may have to leave at some point. So Kotori, who is disabled and didn't really fit into the class, was seriously thinking about quitting school around the time I came to the dormitory. And that was the time when Aoi was trying to get Kotori to go to school, and he found Kotori's withdrawal letter and hid it. And I'm pretty sure he still has that withdrawal letter. So for a long time, she felt like she had to get out of there, and left the same thing strongly when she read Isuka's flight log. So, well then, you copied her by making that list. The things I want to do list that Isuka wrote is something she pursued herself.
あの頃、私友達なんて一人もいなかったから、イスカの日記を読んで彼女を友達みたいに思って、それで今思うとバカみたいよね。
Well, then again, I kind of regret what I did. Well, that's not true. So because of you feeling like that, we are here now. So it was all your, or like you and Isuka's stuff that got us inspired to continue with this, even though it's quite risky per Tobika Sensei's comments.
だから私、あまねちゃんとはまた別で イスカの夢を叶えられたらって思ってる。友達として。
As her friend. Really? So I also have a special feeling about Isuka as well. And she was Amane's best friend and left the glider behind for us. And also, I know how that to Kotori, who was once so lonely, she was like an invisible friend. The Amane, Kotori, and I, Isuka, is a beloved friend. And that's why I feel like I owe a lot to Isuka.
恥ずかしいこと告白しちゃった。
So, then why do you seem so happy?
なんでだろう。葵くんにはつい話しちゃうんだよね。
Well, is that because we're close friends? I said as a joke, but Kotori sitting there in her wheelchair looks downwards.
そうかも。
Well, I guess so. So she seems kind of awkward, embarrassed, but happily accepts me using the phrase close friend.
私がまだここにいて、こうして素敵な夏を過ごせてるのは全部葵くんのおかげ。ありがとう。
Sure, I'm happy to hear that. So I meekly replied, but inside I answered, well, that's my line. And if it weren't for Kotori, I never would have come into contact with the glider. Even if I had come across it, it definitely wouldn't have been as much fun. Well, it's getting dawn, so like dawn's coming soon. So the eastern sky had a kind of hazy brightness. So shall we get breakfast ready? So everyone will begin up soon, so you gotta get breakfast ready by the time everyone wakes up. And then another busy day will begin. Okay, so the first person to get up is Kanako, and as usual, she is hungry. So I'm going to stop here for this episode, and in the next episode, I'll show you what happens if I choose the Ageha option and the meal option. So what happens if Aoi mentions that it's Ageha's turn next to look at the temperature in the morning, or himself. And I wonder how it's going to go for Ageha and himself, given that, well, for the himself option, it's just going to be him talking about himself, and I don't feel that there's much to say. But for the Kotori option, it's quite interesting that Kotori feels embarrassed and regrets her choices in the very beginning of this big novel, how she's reclusive, she gets upset, and wanted to drop out of the Keifu Academy because she didn't like the program. But at least thanks to Isuka, and to a small extent, Aoi and Amane, and maybe Ageha, Kotori has some excitement and some inspiration to stay here at the Keifu Academy in the Soaring Club. So we'll see when the morning glory clouds come and whether or not they'll be ready to go through the passage of clouds. And with that in mind, I will see you in the next episode.